Pop Escape is still, working out fine, but the creator straight up said if SDK is ever, not going to be supported anymore, like fully, like Pop
Mm,
Escape will be gone.
mm,
He has no plans of uploading it to SDK 3 just
mm.
because it's so much work for him.
Yeah. Well, that also kind of brings back to the whole Unis Honest message. Visit thing or see it or don't. Visit it or don't. One day it'll be gone. Those are ones like Pop
Yeah,
Escape
and
or
I
The
mean
Devouring.
it's a good message too in general is like don't wait. Like if you want to do something, if you want to experience something, just do it.
Hello, welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion.
I'm Old Man Raptor, and our guest is.
Hello, I'm Nova. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Thank you for coming over and talking to us.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy,
no
you still
problem.
stuck on
Glad
the
to be
pun?
here.
You're still stuck on the puns? Damn it, boy. Yeah.
Wait, what was the pun? It went right over my head. I
Thank
didn't
you
catch
for
that one.
coming, Nova.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. It went right over my head. Listen, I'm the one that
Yeah.
makes the puns, and I lost that one.
Yeah, okay. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. This is going to
Well,
be a fun one.
indeed. So, what is it you do here on the internet and VR chat?
Oh, what don't I do? No.
Yeah, fair
Well,
point.
let's see.
Whoa, that's an
Uh,
open boat we don't want to play in. We
yeah.
might. Look out, folks. It's a mud hole, and somebody's going to drown in it. Probably me.
Hey, no judgment, right? I get up to a lot of crazy shit in here.
Uh,
No, okay. All seriousness though, I have a YouTube channel where I go over like cool worlds I find. I do walkthroughs of them. I sometimes do like guides for them, let's play style content. I'm looking to do like lore videos around worlds. I also run the Void Nexus Discord and VR chat group where we do like
Mm.
weekly game nights, random world hopping, like themed events, photo contests, all sorts of stuff.
Hmm. Wow. Sounds like you're quite the busy bee.
isn't that what you classify as a person that's got multiple talents and then look out when they come out?
Well, there's that too. So, what got you into all this, like VR chat and running a YouTube channel and all the other activities?
Well, the YouTube, I've been into YouTube since maybe 2005.
Wow.
It started with like, yeah, I know, way back in the beginning of YouTube. It was me and a friend, with an old big cam recorder, just recording us goofing off in the yard. It evolved into like sketch comedy, which it was teenager sketch comedy, so it wasn't all that good. But over the years, a lot of creators like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, like all the big Let's Players, I watched them. I'm like, hey, I want to build up a community like that, and I've had a lot of failed channels over the years. Like I start building it up, and I'm like, you know what? I have so much going on. I'm not going to do this, or the stars aren't aligned, or my heart's not in this.
Hmm.
So it's kind of always been in my blood since I was young to like make content, record myself doing things, let's plays, streaming. VR chat caught my eye because, well, for starters, there was the meme culture and stuff, which I was like, I don't really care for that. If that's what VR chat is, I'm not that interested. But I'd watch some funny videos on YouTube here and there, and I'm like, not for me, but it's enjoyable to watch. That was until my favorite musician, Porter Robinson, he released an album called Nurture. His music helped me through a lot of stuff, and I watched the live stream, and he went into VR chat and was doing commentary of his album. Like he'd play it in the background and visit worlds that kind of fit the songs from the album. And
Hmm.
I saw like beautiful worlds that I didn't even know existed. Like I thought VR chat was hang out, try to be the funniest person in the room, talk about crazy stories, and succumb to memes. But I saw a completely different side of it that day, and I was like, wait, that's VR chat? That's what it's about? And like a week or two later, I had a Quest 2, and then that was when I realized, oh shit, like there's PC only stuff. Oh man. So then I had to like upgrade my computer. Anyway, long story short, I fell in love with VR chat. I fell in love with the amazing worlds that creators are putting out, and I'm like, I need to show this off to people. Like more people need to see this stuff.
Mm.
Like, there's so much content revolving around I'm gonna make funny things happen in VR chat, or we're gonna go troll people, or we're just gonna hang out and talk. There's not a lot of like world exploration and showcasing. I mean, nowadays there is. There's a lot of creators that are focusing on that, but I don't know. It hit a part of me that I was like, I need to do something with this.
Mm. So, what was some of those worlds that touched you in a way that made you want to start this journey for Nova Redux?
It's hard to say. Where like what exactly made it click? Like the Porter Robinson stream that made me drawn into VR chat. It was just a lot of like beautiful worlds. I couldn't remember the names off the top of my head, but there was like a grassy field with windmills. There was one where you could like fly around and in like an upside down city. Just a lot of really artistic, interesting stuff. And then, hopping on, I became something of like a world hopper and an explorer. So it started with the VR Chat World Jam, where the second one where they were doing obstacle courses and platforming, and I was like,
Mm.
"Oh, I might as well check these out and record it." Unfortunately, that video got corrupted; it's not around anymore. But from there, I just, I saw what caught my eye. My first video, quote unquote, that's on my channel is me visiting worlds from the video game Outer Wilds, which is one of my all-time favorite games, and
Mm.
just seeing how like true to the game it is, and seeing people with similar interests to me putting stuff into a VR environment. I'm like, that's cool as hell.
Mm. So, what have been some of your favorite worlds during your exploration?
Oh my god, there's so many to name. Like I have a must-see list on my worlds playlist that is
Mm.
completely full, and I have to keep on cycling it. But I mean, special mention to like the Dr. Moreau trilogy,
Yes.
Organism and Epilogue, and Project Summer Flare, all the classics. But there's a lot of like more obscure ones that I like too. Like, let me just quickly pull up that list and just scroll for a moment. I found a lot of creators that have amazing worlds. I have a lot of respect for like End Prowler, Lakuza. Finns is one of my personal favorites. I love anything by
Mm.
Finns. There's Lunar Eclipse has some incredible sci-fi worlds with a connected lore. There's just so much talent in VR chat.
Mm.
Like, there's so many of the like people recreating all of Majora's Mask, all of like having Jet
Yes.
Set Radio playable in VR. Like, that's so cool.
Mm.
Like that you can just jump in and be in a completely different game in VR chat.
Mm.
Haunted Asylum is a personal favorite. Like, there's just so many Austinio's games in general. They feel like you're just jumping into a different game. It's not VR chat. It's this game.
Mm.
Like it's Prison Escape. It's Blackout. You forget you're in VR chat. Like I said, Jet Set Radio. I don't feel like I'm playing VR chat when I'm in there anymore. And then a friend joins, and I'm like, oh shit, right. I'm in VR chat.
Mm. That's one of the many beauties of VR chat. It's so many things at once, and you get to see you get to see people's minds as well, especially when you go into Dr. Morrow's worlds with Epilogue and 1 and 2. It's it's one of the most amazing things. I do agree. I'm a world hopper personally. I have world favorites that are public in my own profile. I'm probably in my second revolution personally of 200, 100, something like that. So many great worlds. And are you also referring to the Majora's Mask world that's like partially finished? The one where you go into the swamp
Oh yeah,
and then
that's the one I was talking about by Nisha
yeah,
Wolf. You mean?
yeah. I wish they would
Yeah.
finish it. I went in through the like so far everything they've got going, and I got immediately hit into the childhood because when I went into that world for the first time, I was ported back to my brother and I would sit around an 8-inch TV with a Nintendo playing Majora's Mask. Such an amazing world.
Yeah, you know what worlds did that for me? It was Avariff's world, the Donkey Kong 64, Banjo-Kazooie, and
Mm.
Banjo-Tooie worlds. Those are amazing. Like he had like it was funny. He posted in his Discord too. It was a screenshot of Banjo Kazooie and a screenshot of his world, and they were identical. Like he did an
Wow.
incredible job. Like all the music, like it fades in and out as you go between areas. You know, it's when you go underwater, it does the underwater theme. You can go to any of the worlds in Banjo Kazooie now, and he's trying to do that with Banjo Tooie. It's just the amount of like effort people put in is incredible.
Mm. There are also some creators in here, not just like game creators, but like people who make worlds. Where the quality competes with AAA studios or are better. Like if like there's one world back in 2019 that I'm just impressed with the Unity they were using, how good it is. It's a little street platform. It's a road, and it's everything's raining in the middle of an ocean. Like for
Yeah, I
2019,
know what you're talking about.
mm,
Yeah, that's by Mochi, I believe, right?
I believe so. Yes, they did such a
I
great
think so.
job.
Mochi's shaders are insane.
Mm. Yeah, Mochi shaders are really good. Even when like how a lot of creators here, like the one who made this, there are not a whole lot of game studios like putting that much effort into VR. When you see people like in Vrchat making such amazing worlds, it looks so great. Always makes me excited to explore. You come in here, it's like, is this the same game? This looks like I'm in like some AAA studio PC game, not Vrchat. Mm.
Yeah, I think what's really special to me, it's like you said, like people put a little piece of themselves into the worlds they create too.
Mm.
And one of my favorite things too is just like getting into the minds of the creators while I'm exploring a world. Like I have a very strict policy in my group. Do not insult worlds we visit ever. It
Mm.
can be like a buggy mess, it can be super unoptimized, it can be like, you know, crappy design or whatever it is. Like I don't really like I'll point out its flaws, but I don't make a point of being like, man, this world sucks. This is so shitty. It's so boring. Because it could be
Mm.
someone's first world. It could have
Mm.
like a deeper impact for them personally. There was one time I visited. It was the most simple world. It was just a hallway with photos with what I would consider annoying looping music and certain things that hurt my eyes. But when I went there, all I could think was like looking at these photos and being like, look at all these people living their lives out in VR chat, meeting people, having their own adventures, their own groups, and it's just like this is their own personal memory space, and
Mm.
it was kind of touching in a way.
Mm. You do have a point being respectful in the worlds you're in, because when you go to most worlds now, even if it's a world like ripped off Gumroad or Booth, almost every re-upload has people's pictures in it, like their friend groups or their significant others in here in VR chat. You could definitely see all the memories, even if they didn't touch anything in the world. At least you'll see their photos up, and I do understand and get and respect that you do that within your world hopping groups.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like you said, ones that are just ripped straight off of Booth or Gumroad or whatever and uploaded with slight variations. It could just be someone learning how to make that slight variation. They've never done it before and it's their first time trying it.
Mm.
Might have just ripped it to be like, I'll try seeing if I can figure out how this world is built and see if I can change anything in it. And then they upload it and show their friends and it's like, look, I did this. That's so cool.
Mm.
Like it's just the small joys in it.
Mm. Definitely. So where do you plan on taking Re- Redux as like a VR chat group and a YouTube channel?
Well, I try to keep. Originally, the Void Nexus was Nova's group. Like it was
Mm.
my YouTube, my group. That was the community. But from what it's grown into now, I'm trying to keep it kind of separate
Mm.
and like have the Void Nexus be just our hangout, our friend group. More people can join and play with us, host events. Eventually, like I have this like low key dream of like running a similar server to like something like Ancients of VR Chat, maybe not on the same scale, but
Mm.
have a bunch of events, have people hosting events, have a lot of variety to it. People
Mm.
know it as just like a cool hangout place where you can be yourself, and we're all little silly little guys being goofy little gremlins running around having a good time.
Mm.
So I'd like to slowly build it up to that. I'd like to have more event coordinators and like people who want to show people the beauty of VR chat. Like I'd love to be able to every week it's like, all right, we're going to go to space worlds today. We're going to go to ocean worlds today, beach worlds today. We're going to have a music event this day, game night this day. I want to host more European events. Like I just want to be able to meet more people and show people the things I love. And
Mm,
for NovaRedux, I thought about becoming a VTuber, like officially, like have my own model, because this is just a Hoppo avatar that
mm,
someone else uploaded. It's a public avatar, and I talked to the creator. I have the files. I can change this if I want, but I really want like Nova. I want it to be like my own character, and
mm,
there's some backstory to it as well. And like I want to like be able to stream whatever game I want on Twitch, not just Vrchat, while also running my YouTube channel on Vrchat content. Like I
mm,
want my YouTube to be Vrchat and then my Twitch to just be variety. Like you want to see me talk about Vrchat stuff? It's there. You want to watch me, 100% Halo Master Chief Collection? You can watch that, on the downtime as well. Like
mm,
show more of myself in the Twitch streams, for instance.
Okay. Well, that's like, I wish you the best of luck in reaching all that, and I hope you genuinely get there, because that sounds like a lot of work, and I'm sure you could do it.
Yeah, it's work that I love though. I've always loved
Mm,
making communities, making content. Like there's been some hiccups along the road, but it's where my passion's at, and I can't ever deny that. No matter what happens, it's what I love.
mm,
I'd love to do it full time someday, just have full creative freedom to just spend all my time working on it. Cause like when push comes to shove, I could sit in my room for like 24 hours straight, like recording, editing, uploading, networking, eh, touching up the channel, touching up the Discord. Like I love that. I think it's so much
mm,
fun.
mm. It's kind of, I'm glad you do, because there are some people out there that don't enjoy the back of house stuff. But I do agree
Oh, it's
that is
my
fun stuff.
favorite.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite. I love it.
Okay. So I have another question for you. What was your start of VRChat like after you kind of saw the videos and wanted it, or the video you mentioned? What was your first time like?
Like anyone's running into public lobbies and seeing the worst side of VR chat. But aside from that, I understood what VR chat was really like behind the scenes, other than just the public lobby. So I wasn't immediately turned off from it. Like I met some people, I dragged some friends into it. They showed me
Mm,
some worlds they liked. I feel like from the start, most of my time was spent. Well, I think first I went through the trending ones, obviously, like because I'd never seen anything. I wanted to see what is everybody else visiting.
mm,
So I checked all those first, and then most of my time after that is spent in the recently updated new community labs random, like those
mm,
tabs, just constantly picking through to find like that thumbnail and name sounds interesting. Maybe I'll check that one out.
mm,
And I've went sifted through a lot of, bare bones content, but in it I found a lot of hidden gems and,
mm,
like you said, worlds like this, ones that are just you wouldn't usually go out of your way to a world like this because I mean maybe you do, but it's just I don't know. If I saw a world sleep in the secret base with a thumbnail, I'd be like, maybe I'll check it out. But
mm,
once you give it a chance, you find out you might actually love it.
mm. Yeah, I can agree with that. I do. Well, I personally actually visit a lot of worlds, because one of the things we do here on the channel is we'll try and do each podcast in a new world, unless the guest has one that, like, of their own, like they're a club or something. But I world hop for that a lot, and I'm not picky anymore. I'll just visit each world, and then I'll save the ones I like. I have one or two hidden playlists, and then two or three public ones. And as I do my own content, I'll put things in the public. Hey, I like this one. It's going in there. Finished. It's going up there for people to visit, because I enjoy every world I've seen. Even worlds like this, it seems more like a sleep world, but even just hanging out, and you can see the aesthetic with all the fish and the jellyfish out there. You're in a big dome with a bunch of beds. It's got a very cozy vibe to it. I like it. I've also been to some really, really cool worlds out there as well. Like the thumbnail looks kind of or janky, but when you go into the world, I was floored. Like there was one. It's I had a thumbnail that kind of made me go but once you hop into it, it's like an island in the middle of an ocean with a singular uh windmill in the middle of it, balloons you could ride, and a boat in the background. It was I love the world. It was really, really well done. Like sometimes just by the thumbnail alone, you can't always judge from there so far, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah, and then of course you always have the ones that have like the most beautiful thumbnail ever, and you go in and it's just a square with a skybox. It could have I remember one. It was so funny. I was some forest world,
Mm.
and the thumbnail was like this beautiful, like gorgeous forest, and we went in. It was the strangest thing I'd ever seen. It was like bubbles that were just the tree skyboxes, and there was like 6 or 7 of them, and you would just walk into them, and it wasn't like a 3D space like you'd look around. It was like a small bubble, like maybe the size of this thing that I'm in right now,
Mm.
and with just like a tree skybox on that bubble, and outside of it was just like a square you could walk on and avoid, and I'm like, what is this? Like, what was the direction of this? It was so
Mm.
confusing. Like sometimes you run into that where it's like nothing at all what you were expecting from the thumbnail, and you just sit there and go,
Mm.
okay.
One of my an example I have is also one of my favorite worlds and events I've ever been a part of. There's a world, it's like Tuscan City or something like that. It's got a beautiful cityscape as the thumbnail. And then you go in and it's a green plane with giant Rick Astley's dancing in the background, playing Never Gonna Give You Up. And I first hopped in there and the first words in my mouth was an expletive. And then shortly after that, I said, I got to invite people here. And so I started inviting in people, and people would come in and they'd go, fuck. And then they'd start inviting people. It became some massive instance of people just inviting their friends, waiting to hear them swear as they get rickrolled. Because you don't expect it when it says Tuscan City with a beautiful cityscape. You don't expect it at all. Fantastic. Whoever did that was a great troll. I love you for it. I don't think it was
I'm
called
just gonna
Tuscan
look
City.
this.
I,
Yeah,
it's
I'm just gonna
been
look
over a
into
year.
this real quick because I'm curious. Yeah, I'm probably won't be able to find it too easily. I'm just like, oh, I'm kind of interested.
I wish I
Yeah,
saved it.
like
I wish I did.
no, I was just gonna say you were mentioning like unassuming thumbnails. When I looked up Tuscan City, I see City of Glass, which is a Mirror's Edge inspired world. Wonderful world. The thumbnail looks pretty nice, but at the same time, my initial instinct looking at the thumbnail is like, okay, it's like you're on a building or
Mm.
something, and it's kind of unassuming. But you go there, if you played Mirror's Edge, it's like, oh heck, there's like parkour in this map, and I can run around, and the music's awesome, and
Mm.
it's like you said, you just have to visit them.
Mm. Another really good resource for world hopping, if you want to see the hand-picked ones, is go to Vrchat photographer Twitter. When you see the
Oh
Vrchat
yeah, I'm
photographers,
familiar.
yeah, like Neomance, Yamazakura, they'll do some really amazing pictures, and you'll see a bit of the world. Great work. I kind of use the worlds. I'm sure you'll notice.
Well, I'm not on Twitter anymore. I kind of got fed up with everything there. But I for a while I was using that a lot. Nowadays, I'm in a couple of groups like Explore VR Chat is a great one, for example.
Mm.
Um, but mostly I feel like I've kind of harbored that world hopping vibe in my group so well at this point that we're just always finding and recommending worlds to each other at this point. And
Mm.
you know, we'll hop on a couple times a week and just be like, all right, what's on your list? Let's go through it. Especially like I mentioned before, we do photo contests. So I'll
Mm.
just quickly explain what that is. So I have 2 types. I have a server banner contest where you can we have a theme every month, and then the winner gets a prize for winning. Like it gets voted by the community on their favorite. It's the new banner for our group. Like if you look at my name tag, you won't be able to see it
Ah,
here, but
I see it.
that was a community photo. The theme was Halloween. Um, and people love entering those. And then I also have a weekly one where it's like, it can be a more specific theme, it could be a more vague theme, but it's always interesting seeing what worlds people pick for those contests. And someone will post a photo for the contest, and it's a rule you have to include the world name and author,
Mm.
because someone will post this beautiful photo, and then there'll be the world name and author, and it's like, I like that world, that's cool, I'm gonna go visit it now. We're
Mm.
trying to harbor that energy of show us what you found.
Mm.
I have channels in the Discord too for like help me find a specific world I'm looking for. Like, hey, like someone earlier asked, is there any underwater worlds where you're in a cage? And someone didn't have a specific answer for it, but they're like, hey, check out this one, it might work.
Mm.
We have a channel you can recommend worlds. We have a channel where you can share photos you've taken of worlds. So we just really harbor that, and I end up finding some really cool stuff because of it.
Mm. Well, that's actually really cool. You have your community have that kind of world hop mentality. Because one thing for me personally is I do enjoy world hopping. Seeing all the cool stuff people build and work, and you get to see a glimpse of what their thought process is. Because even worlds like this that we're in now, it's not a thing you just quickly throw together. Some of these things take months, so you know they're putting a lot of thought into these things. Even if it's a Rick Astley world with a really perfectly picked
Yeah.
title, you can still see the thought process in it. Even if it's haha, you got Rickrolled, you can still see it there.
Yeah, for me, actually, I want to bring up two examples. It was like last week or the week before I did my first European event for like my EU friends in the server, and it was just a community labs world hop,
Mm,
and two worlds that stuck out to me. I can't remember the exact name of the one, but it was a Monster Hunter Rise world, and
mm,
you could see what they were doing. It was meant to be like a role play map,
mm,
and it was beautiful. Like, you could see the creator's idea, like the spawn area was very bare bones basic square, but once you get in there, it was like mountains, you could climb on vines, you could go to all these different areas, you could see the view from up high.
mm,
Um and it was just cool seeing like they had like little notes and stuff for their friends, like, oh, if you want to role play as one of these characters, go to this cave and here's what you need to do. And it's like, oh, that's cool.
mm.
And then the other one I want to mention is I don't know, have you ever been to the Rat Gallery?
I have
It's
not been to
fairly
the Rat
new.
Gallery. What is the Rat Gallery?
You need to go to the Rat Gallery. So the Rat Gallery is it's like a little museum space. It's like big open space with some photos along the walls, a video player. And then straight ahead there is a cylindrical pillar.
Mm,
And you'll see like a little picture of a mouse or rat with a little timer that's slowly ticking up, like I think it's a 1-minute timer, and every time that timer hits the top, a new themed rat spawns. So it's like a cute little plushie kind of thing, and it roams around the museum.
mm,
So one will be like a cherry rat, which is two cute little cherries, like in a rat shape. There was one that was a witch that had like a little witch's hat and a broom and a little black cat rat on the end of the broom. There was a dragon one that breathes fire. Like there's so many, and
mm.
you just sit there and they just keep spawning and they fill up the room like as you're sitting there. It's so fun because like you'll like run around with your friends and it's like, oh, did you see this one? Did you see this one? And like, oh wait, look, this one makes a different noise. And they'll
Mm,
just like keep on moving around, like bouncing off each other and flipping, and like it's so fun to just sit there for an hour and see what spawns. And like the
mm,
thought process behind it is this person is trying to sell this asset on Gumroad of these rats. You buy a pack and it's like a little pet follower. And
mm,
like that was their thought process, was to show them off. And you know what? I didn't buy it, but it works. It makes you want to go there and experience it. It's so
mm,
we went there on our little community labs world hop, and we were just so full of serotonin in that map. We just stayed there for like an hour.
mm. You know, you mentioning the world with timers reminded me of another really well done world. It's a horror theme, but it's a world with a mirror, plain white. There are pictures.
The waiting room.
Is it the waiting room? Like your pictures will
Is
change.
that
The
what you're
mirror.
talking about?
Yeah, the waiting
Yep.
room. Fantastically
That's a
done world.
classic.
It is fantastically done. Like me, Raptor, and the guys just sat there for 3, 4 hours just waiting to see what else changes. It just gets weirder, and it's fantastic. At least me personally, I
It
think
does
it's
have an
worth.
end. Did you know that?
No, how long do you gotta wait?
There's from what I've never sat through the whole thing, but I asked Reddit because I was curious, and apparently like 5 or 6 hours there's an ending.
Oh, we always.
Apparently there's like a couple endings, and you'd have to like sit through it again. So I'm
Uh,
like, I don't know.
you know, the funny thing is, now I think about it, it seems like we end about an hour to 30 minutes before it supposedly ends, then, Raptor, when we were in the waiting room.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was really nuts.
Although
I've never spent over an hour and a half there.
you should.
I'm
It's
lucky.
great.
Yeah. I think we were at hour and 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and we're just going, is this gonna end? And we just going, I don't know. Then all of a sudden, something else come up, and we're all gone, just that quick. Just the way it usually works. You get involved with what you're watching and everything else like this, and then you get invites. Oh, they're on. Okay, and then we chuck over there. But yeah, one of those. Yeah, we've never sat the whole thing. No.
Yeah, the only thing that I kind of find as like a downside of that map, I wish it was late joiner friendly and everyone could be synced up. Unless they changed it. It wasn't when I went there.
It would be a lot better if the events in there were more local or more global, not local. Although, even if the late joiners, though, people like it. There's one group I sat in the waiting room with, and I think it was like 4.5 hours we sat in there. And if people started joining us late, it's like, oh, just wait till you're about 2 hours in. And then the people are like, wait, what happens 2 hours in? I'm not going to ruin it, but you just have to see it. And so people sit there for 2 extra hours just to see what, like, the mirror break or the radio does a thing or one of the pictures changes. And people sit there for it. And it was great. It was a fantastic time.
While we're talking about dynamic worlds that you have to wait a long time in, have you ever been to the Bus to Nowhere?
I've been the Bus to Nowhere, and I think I've only been there like max 2 hours.
That is probably, without a doubt, my favorite map in all of Vrchat for very specific reason. And that's it. It has such incredibly deep lore and like interconnectivity with items and stuff that you can find and the events that happen. And for me, it is the perfect like kind of balance of hangout map and game map. Because when there's no events going on, you just chill with your friends, you chat, you mess around with the stuff around the bus. There's tons of things. There's streamers, there's horns, there's plushies, there's pens, there's a Simon Says, and it's all in this little bus. And you're forced to be in close proximity with your friends and just be within an earshot of each other. So you're always part of the conversation, no matter where you are. But then when an event happens, it's like everyone stops and it's like, okay, what event are we getting? Oh, it's a lightning storm. We got to bring this up to the roof so this gets charged with electricity so we can use it for this, so we can bring it over here, and that'll interact with like it has so much interconnectivity. And apparently there's like 3 boss battles and like 3 different endings you can get, and there's like so much deep lore that you can find there.
Wow.
It's, to me, a perfect Vrchat map. Like if you go there and I found out, I went on a public instance, there is an ending you can get, and I am not making this up. You have to sit in there for like 11 days. You don't have to stay there. You can keep the instance open for 11 days because as you sit in the bus, it drives and your mile counter goes up. But at certain milestones, you get stuff. And apparently one of them happens at like 10,000 miles, and there's another at like 100,000. There's another at 1,000,000, and it's like 11 days. And I think there's another one you can get at like 24 days or something longer than that, or like 30 days or something.
Wow.
Like actual real life days. You have to like do a change of guard, cycle with your group, or like do a public instance and hope to God that the people don't leave, or just leave it on your computer or something. Like it's crazy.
Although, if
never did sit through it though all the way.
I hope no one does genuinely sit through it for 11 to 24 days. That seems like an awful lot of time.
Oh, they have.
What? Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh
There are people who have done it.
No
yeah.
shit.
Yeah. The 11-day one is probably the most attainable of not of the endings, because there's easier endings you can get, but it's the most attainable of between that and like a month. But apparently there was a group that did try to do it, the like month-long one or whatever, and it was one of those times when Vrchat just went down for a day and they just lost the instance, like 20-something days in.
Oh no, that must have sucked. They spent like 20 days and they were like what 10, 11 days away.
Something like, I don't know the exact number of days it is, but yeah. And the thing is too, once you've done all the events and gotten all the items, just getting that mile counter up is just, you just sit there. That's all it is. You don't have to do it. They actually recommend you turn off the events after a certain point, just because when an event happens, the bus isn't moving forward. It's like frozen in time in the mileage until the
Mm,
event's over. So once
mm,
once you are ready to tackle that, you're literally just sitting there waiting. So
mm.
I don't know if I'll ever tackle it, but yeah.
Well, it's still really
That's
cool.
nuts.
Indeed. It's still really cool though that a
Yeah,
VR
that's
chat
crazy.
game or content creator would put that much thought into it. Like, oh, if you're here for this long, you actually get a thing. And there are some people we know that's chronically in here, but it's still cool that some people with that much thought into a VR chat game. Lore and then events. If you're there for 11 days to a month, you get a thing. That's awesome. And I'm glad there are people in here in VR chat putting that much thought into it. Because how much other real VR content outside of VR chat is there? Isn't a whole lot. I wish it was more though.
Yeah, I feel like honestly VR as a whole is just so underutilized. Like there's some
Mm,
cool stuff. I mean, I can't really say that with too much confidence cuz I'll be honest with you, I got this headset in 2021, I think it was, like May
mm,
2021. And I have played VR chat, I've played Beat Saber. That-
mm.
That's it.
You know, a game outside of VR chat that I would very much recommend then, I think it may be on the Quest, but if you have PC VR, Half-Life Alex.
Yeah, I do.
It is a
I
fan.
did buy that recently, so I do
It's
have it.
worth a playthrough. I played Half-Life 2 and then the DLCs 2.5 I think it is. And even that it,
Episode 1 and 2, yeah.
yeah, there's even a VR mod for that where they took both of those and make completely VRified it. I'd heavily suggest the Half-Life series in VR.
I
It is
didn't know that.
really,
I mean,
yeah. It's like
I'm a big Half-Life fan, but I didn't know
mm,
they did it in VR. That's super cool.
yeah, and on top of that, I think for the Half-Life 2 within those mods, people made their own like VR Half-Life games too as well. Like there's quite a bit there for you to play. Like, I would suggest Half-Life Alyx first. Fantastic game, great story, a lot to do. There are some freaky moments and some awesome story moments, and then some callbacks as well. I would very much suggest you play it. It's like a 20 to 30 hour game. So it's worth the time because there's a lot to do.
Yeah, it's funny you say there's a lot to do, and that's the only reason I don't ever do anything is because I'm anxiety of choice. It's like, I have this backlog of like 500 games and all this anime I have to watch, and I have to make a video, and gotta work, and I also forgot I have to do all the. It's so I'll get to it eventually for sure. It's just, my
Mm.
God, there's so much to do in life and so little time.
Mm. Well, at least with places like VR chat, you can still meet people from other places. Because I know one thing on everyone's bucket list is I want to go see the world. And for some people, that may not be financially possible, but at least in places like this, you can sit in front in like in a cozy sleep dome with someone else from across the world. And you can have a conversation with people, and at least you get that much. Is it like actually being there, trying the food, and seeing the land? No. But at least you get that for free. So many memories people make here like that. It's not even funny. At least you get that much here.
Yeah, and what's even crazier is when you meet someone who lives like 3 hours from you and ends
Mm.
up being your closest friend. That's what happened to me.
Oh,
It's
really?
crazy. Like, yeah, totally random chance. You just hop into a public lobby, approach a random person. Turns out you are like identical across the board. You have everything in common with each other. You're literally down the same down to the personality. Become your best friend in just 5 months, and yeah, and
Mm.
she lives 3 hours away from me, and it's
Oh,
just it's
wow.
crazy to think that, like, this random person I happen to meet by chance lives so close to me and has so much in common with me.
Wow.
That's the beauty of any online community is that you never know.
Mm. That's actually really awesome that you're able to meet someone from VR chat, in real life. Because not a.
Haven't met in real life just yet, but,
Mm.
I mean, hopefully that happens someday.
Mm.
Oh, actually, I did meet someone from VR chat, come to think of it. It was unfortunate to bring up. It was an ex that I had, but,
Uh,
she lived, like, 8 hours away from me, and she took the trip out to see me, and
mm.
we spent a weekend together. So I guess I can say I met someone from VR chat.
Mm. You know, at least with VR chat, you're almost people who this is not generalizing, but most people who are here have a very certain point of interest. They're gamers and they enjoy anime generally. So at least when you come here, meet people and make friends, you're gonna have the rough same interests. There's still people out there who like working out or sports and stuff. They're here, obviously, but you're generally going to meet someone of similar mind as you, which is great.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's definitely people who like working out in here. I mean, there's the mighty gym after all. Literally a gym dedicated to doing that in VR. It's so cool.
It is cool, and I hope more people like the Mighty Gym come into VR and utilize it, because there's a lot of potential here. Like even like there's another world I wish I remembered. It's a club world, and it has you go into an instance, and the walls is a camera in the window to the real life club, and you could see the real life
Oh,
dancers.
I've seen those.
Yeah, and then on the real life club, they could see the VR chat club goers, and both sounds I believe are synonymous with each other. So at least there are some things like that. The Mighty Gym. There's a VR
VR
Chat Academy.
dancing.
Yeah, dancing. The VR Chat Academy, which is like a place you can learn Japanese in. It's like a place run by.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, so many cool things. I hope more people do that because there's a whole bunch of potential here to do stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm always blown away by the groups I see. I mean, there's the Trans Academy is another one. There's a really strong sign language community in VR chat. Like, I don't know, people are doing amazing things in here.
Yeah, indeed. It's really cool to see that, and I wish I could see more of it. I need to go out and see those groups more, whether it's the VR Chat Academy or the Mighty Gym. I gotta venture out other than world hopping and doing these podcasts. Yeah.
I get it. I'm guilty of the same exact thing. I'm doing events with my group. I'm world hopping with my group. I'm spending private time with my close friends. And then I'm like, oh yeah, there's so much cool stuff in VR chat that I'm not interacting with in any way. Like, I mean, for me, one of the coolest ones for me too is like, I mean, I don't like crowds, so I'm probably never going to experience the rave scene in VR chat, but it is insane.
I would
Like how big it is.
I would very much suggest it. I've at least gone to a bunch of those. I've had the wonderful pleasure of meeting a bunch of people who do that stuff. Although I'm very guilty of goldfishing. I don't mind groups, doesn't bother me. I just get goldfishy real easy. It's like, oh, cool. Look, a world that's a sleep dome. Oh, look, I'm at a black hole now. Oh, look, Raptor's online. Let's go see Raptor. I'm just very guilty of not seeing those other groups and communities, and I really should because there's so much cool stuff. People do so much work in here.
Oh yeah, I mean the worst part too is like.
Me now?
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to come see you? I could see you in your window, Raptor.
No, most time no, that's how I was getting at. Usually when I come in and everything, you don't see me. So I was just double checking. He actually sees me. Usually I got to say something. I'm doing.
Wait, when did Raptor get here?
Raptor's
yeah,
here?
No shit. Yeah, no doubt.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just an image, folks. It's not really me. Because guess what? That's all it is. Guess what?
What really happened is Nova and I are in this video together, and I'm editing in post-fact Raptor here because we brought him here and we gave him moments where he could just interject. Kind of scripted. Not really.
Yeah, I'm just a cardboard cutout. That's all you see.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Sorry. I'm holding something that's not there. The cardboard fell off.
But I would greatly suggest visiting the rave scene. Like, for example, Rave to the Grave or Sanctum. Beautifully made worlds.
Yeah, and
beautiful
I guess
events.
VRChat has also offered like a lot of things for people like me who can't do the loud noises in crowds. You know, there's earmuff mode. You can just turn down the world volume. You can hide avatars after a distance. Like, I get that there's like ways for me to enjoy it. I just get super social. It's funny. I run a group and I host events with like, 20 plus people sometimes. But I can't do crowds. It's like at a certain point, I'm just like, oh God, I'm so overstimulated and overwhelmed. I just gotta leave.
Well, maybe what I could do for you is I can take you to one of those rave groups and you can stick with me and I'll keep you safe from all the scary people. and I'll guide you through
It's
that.
not so much that. It's not so much
Whoa,
that.
whoa,
It's
whoa,
just
whoa. How in the fuck are you gonna do that? What are you gonna do? You borrow my fucking hamster ball? Go, it's okay, we'll paint it black so you can't see through it and they can't see you either. You gotta peek through the witty bitty holes to see what's going on. That'd be
Well,
nuts.
Raptor, it's not like I'm going to put him in the hamster ball, tie a string to the hamster ball, and just drag him places. I'm not that much of a heartless ass.
Yeah, I mean, at least put me in a box with like a pillow and stuff, you know, like a nice wooden crate.
He wants it padded. He wants a padded one. He don't want it where it's bumpy. I understand.
Maybe the
I know
box
that
of pillow would be a lot smarter. Have you ever seen the video of the hamster like going ham on the wheel and then he stops running and starts going rapidly in circles? I know what that...
just start rolling with it. Yeah,
Yeah, don't worry, that won't happen to you.
yeah, that's definitely me.
That'll be a Raptor thing. You have a hamster ball, after all.
I am love so much, folks. You just gotta look at the fine print. It's all the love in the world. Yeah, right on. Watch me spin, bitch. Yeehaw! That's gonna be a fun way down the stairs. Oh god, so he's gotta add emojis. Yeah, here it comes. Yeah, shit.
But yeah, what I was gonna say though about the rave scene, it's not so much like, oh, the strangers. Just for me, like loud noise and a lot of lights and a lot of things going on, it just overstimulates me and I get overwhelmed. It's more so just like visual and audio like overstimulation. It just gets in my brain and I'm like, oh god.
Well, there are some of the VR chat clubs out there have like a more private zone, I guess is a way to put it, like a little place you can go off to that kind of has sound a little muffled sometimes, and or it's like away from people on the main dance floor. So there are those you can just turn the volume, turn the stuff down, turn off post processing, and just enjoy the show. There's still a lot of really cool effects that aren't necessarily like lasers or flashy things that a lot of people do nowadays.
Yeah, it's so funny because like on the like I say, you know, oh, I don't do good in crowds, but I like to run in big communities, and oh, I don't like, you know, crazy lights and music, but I love particle worlds. You know, it's just like I don't know. I still love all of those things individually, but you throw them all together, and I'm like, oh god, what's going on? Oh god, you know? I don't panic that bad. I'm exaggerating it, but you know, it's funny to me.
Well, even if you could go see it for a few minutes, I would definitely suggest at least seeing them. My big suggestion would be Rave to the Grave,
Oh yeah,
yeah, Rave to the Grave. Beautiful place, very well built, looks amazing. I've been there, at least to go see what it looks like
yeah.
and then leave.
I mean,
would
don't
su-
get me wrong. I have
Mm,
been to a couple, but it was a long time ago. I'm sure
mm,
it's come a long way since then. But you know, I've been to reality once. I think that world was gorgeous just as a world by itself.
mm.
You know, but you know, there were so many people. Oh my
Yeah.
god, so many people. That I don't do good around like drugs and alcohol. Like just people under the influence. It just throws off my vibe. I don't know. So I try to avoid that generally, and there was a lot of it in that world. So I was like, you know what?
That's understandable. That the whole party scene isn't for everybody, but at least as like a visual experience, at least from my opinion, it's at least really awesome to see because it over time, like within the rave scene, you'll see lots of cool things being done just to make the experience look cooler. Maybe the light system gets changed. We've had a talk with a few people who told us stories of people who do like real life lighting for shows who bring their skill set in here and just make progressions for stuff that happen in here. And there's a lot of cool stuff that happens in the club scene that's not necessarily drinking. But I understand not want to be around the people, and
Oh yeah,
I
for
get it.
sure.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say my favorite music events that I did get to experience was Slyfest is incredible.
Mm,
And so is the New Year's event that they had too, where you can just have your own private instance with your friends, and you still get the whole show, the lights, you get the big screen with the performer on there, and you know you still get to experience it just without like 80 people in the instance.
mm,
And I liked that. I liked that it offered that option.
mm. Well, in most worlds, you can do that as well because most, like for example, most clubs will have a roster of who's playing. If you want to see a certain performer or what say you, they stream it a lot of the time to either Twitch or VRCDN, so you can go into a world yourself and apply the Twitch and watch it live with everyone else. That's always an option nowadays.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I didn't consider that.
Hmm. Yeah. So, like for example, I'll use Rave to the Grave. Sorry, Roomba, but I'm using you as an example. If you're going to like uh their a Discord server, or even on Twitter or whatever social media you wish to view it on, they'll have like the schedule of who's playing. And then from there, you'll be able to find who the DJ or performer they have scheduled for like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and then find where they're streaming to, and just apply the link to yourself in their own world, and just hang out in your own instance. It's always there if you wish
Yeah,
to.
very true. Very true.
I would, yeah. What have been some of the cooler things you've stumbled upon in here?
Like just cool worlds, like inventive worlds. You mean like
Any of the above?
ones that
Worlds,
like wowed
instances,
me?
events? Yeah,
Okay.
anything.
I mean, I am always fascinated with worlds that change your perspective in some way or like mess with you. So like there's the map Hedonism. I don't know if you've ever been there where you're seeing yourself from like a camera's point of view, security cameras, and you have to solve a puzzle from like that weird third person perspective. So
Yes.
like you're seeing there's like a camera like over here and like I'm holding forward but I'm going like into the background and like then it flips to another camera and I'm like going across the screen and then it's another camera and I'm going towards it and I'm just holding
Mm,
forward the whole time and it's like oh my god. Another good example is anything by Thad. So like the Mandelbox, there's the recursive room.
mm,
Those are incredible. I love the Library of Hilbert, I believe it's called,
mm,
where it's like a weird non-Euclidean geometry thing where you walk off the edge, but it like changes your perspective so you're still walking forward and you can see your friend like upside down over there and like
mm,
anything that messes with you in that way. There's I love the I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's by S. Asagiri. It's like the Interstellar Space Station, or I don't remember what the exact name, but it's
mm.
just a giant ring, and you walk around it. And as you're walking around it, it's changing your perspective, so you're always flat, and you can see your friends also walking around it too.
Hmm.
I just that's anything that plays with your perspective is super cool to me.
I wish you usually the non-Euclidean worlds you mentioned reminded me of another world that I've seen personally. You were there too. Do you remember the world that we were shown? We were with Sam and Untamed, I believe, and it's like a small little enclosed world. It's like a little waterfall, dark cave-like atmosphere, and you go through the waterfall, and then you go in a door, and then you're upside down, and you could look up, and there's the waterway, and you could see your friends other side of the waterway, and you continue walking upside down, and then you go through it again, and then you're sideways, so you can look over to your right, and then your friends in the starting area is still there, and then you can't like jump and then you fall through. You have to go backwards, like you're locked to that perspective wherever you walk. It's a really
So
cool,
it's like an MC Escher kind of experience in a way.
kinda. Have you ever seen that really old classic painting where you see those stairs and going different every which way? The
Oh yeah,
world
that's MC
functions the
Escher.
way, yeah, it works the way that painting feels like it should work. Like you walk up the stairs and look over your left and there's the other person on the other case of stairs sideways or something. I wish I remembered the
Oh,
name
that's
of the world.
wonderful.
Yeah. I
I
wish
would love to check that out. Yeah.
I'll have to go ask the Kirsch crew and get that name for it. And I'll post it either in the description or after the fact in the comments. Just check down there when Dopey Me can figure it out, and I'll send it to you personally. It's actually a really cool world.
Oh, I would love that. Yeah.
Mm. Some
Another cool example I can think of, just two quick ones. Two space worlds I really love. There's here, let me I have them in my must see playlist.
mm,
Uh, the first one is where are we? Thrice Spaceship. It's just a ship that's floating through space, and
mhm,
you have Earth to the side, and you can change the like how much you're spinning or rotating compared to the Earth. But the moment you jump off the ship, you're floating in space, and you can like float around in space and like go all upside down and spin, and you can come back to the ship sideways and upside down, and the other one is it's like just zero gravity spaceship. It's
mm,
just an enclosed room on a spaceship, and you can You just float around in 0 G with your friends, and the thing that's really cool about that one for me is you can push off the walls with your hands as well.
Mm.
And if you're in full body, my friend found out you can kick off the wall as well. It registers that as well. So if you,
Oh, that's
you just
cool.
lie down and float, and you can like push yourself with your hands and feet. It's super cool.
That sounds really cool. Have you ever been to Space and Chill?
Which one was that again?
It's the world where you start off in a spaceship, and I think every once in a while, every couple of months to a year, they alter the Space and Chill world as if the spaceship's moving. But they'll change the world
Oh,
entirely.
that's cool.
So right now you'll be on like an asteroid, or the little ship you're on is an asteroid. There's a small little chill living room with pens. The cockpit of the ship is a bed, and then you can walk out, and then you'll see a planet, asteroid field. You'll see a couple large spaceships off in the left and right, and then also there's spaceships you can fly, and those large battleships you can go to.
I've been there. Yeah,
It is an amazing world. Like
I
it's
have
what
been there.
of all the VR chat worlds, it is up there on the top for me. So many cool things. You can a lot of those asteroids you can go on. Back in like the earlier version from last year, there's a sun you can go to, but you have to use funny avatars to get there, and it's got colliders. And me, Rapper, and a bunch of people sat on that distant star, just waiting for people to register where we were, and waited for them to figure out how to get to us. It's great, fantastic time. Whoever runs Space and Chill, fantastic world, and I love it. E.
Yeah, any world that changes over time is super cool to me. I remember the
Mm,
first time I experienced that was I think it's called like was it Japan After School, I think.
mm,
It's just like this little Japanese town, and you spawn like in front of the school. It's like a little elementary school with a playground out front, and you can like walk into the town. There's a rice paddy. And I remember playing it, in the summer, and it was like a nice summer feel. But then when I revisit it in the winter, you're suddenly walking through deep snow in the town. Like it's
mm,
a common thing now for people to have seasonal updates for those worlds. Like I wouldn't say common, a lot, some don't
mm,
bother with it, but I love when
mm,
that happens because it's the same world you know and love, but now it's winter, now it's autumn, now it's
uh,
underwater, now it's on a different planet. Now, like I love seeing people alter their worlds over time.
mm.
But at the same time, it's kind of bittersweet because you might fall in love with one of them, and then you have to either wait or hope that they upload it as a separate map or something.
Yeah, that is one of the sad things about a lot of worlds is there are a lot of common worlds that people been to, like Midnight Rooftop. It's still got the same feeling, but it's altered so much it kind of doesn't feel like the same place sometimes. And the memories are still there, but it is also, as you say, bittersweet at the same time. I can definitely understand that feeling. Although I think Space and Chill
Oh
is a
yeah,
complete overhaul, so they just move it, and I don't think it's going back. I think they just may have updated it and changed what they want it to look like. But for me, like leaving it and coming back later and saying, "Oh wow, the spaceship's somewhere different," kind of has the whole like you're exploring the universe kind of feel to it, even though you may never see those previous worlds again or versions of the world. But still, eh,
yeah, they still live on in your memories, though. You
mm,
still have the memories of the good times you spent there, and maybe if you took photos, you have photos of it. I don't
mm.
know. Slight tangent, but related. Are you familiar with Unus Annus?
Yes, indeed. I've seen a few other stuff.
Well, Unus Annus, do you know what the concept of the channel was when it was around?
F- Not really. Why don't you
All
regale
right.
me?
Well, yeah, I'll give you a quick explanation. So it's Markiplier and Ethan Nestor, who at the time went by Crank Gameplays. They decided to make a channel together where they said straight from the start, we are deleting this channel in 1 year. They said enjoy the videos while they're here. Once it's gone forever. And they uploaded a video every single day for
Wow.
1 year. And one video they would be getting like a massage, then they'll go to an escape room, then they're trying this challenge, then they're doing something out in the woods, then they're learning how to play guitar. Like it was always something new.
Mm,
And the whole concept behind Unus Annus, which is Latin for 1 year, is nothing is permanent in this world.
mm,
And you can either watch the channel while it's there and or just miss out on it. And it's
mm,
just a part of history that happened now, and for those who were able to watch it, you know, you got a chance to watch Unisonis while I was around, and you know, you don't have to archive it or go back to it. You just have the memory of having enjoyed the videos when they were around, and like that was their whole thing, you know.
Yeah.
It was like accepting the ending of things, accepting the death of things, and just understanding that. And I feel like that goes with a lot of VR chat worlds too. Is you experience them while they're there, and then eventually they're gone. Some of my favorite avatars are gone forever because the creator just decided to take them down. Same with some worlds. There was a world. I don't know if you're familiar with audio waves, but
Yeah, I've seen it.
the last time I went there, it was just like an audio link world on a little square. But what I remember audio waves as was this really cool cave, and like the particles lit up the walls of the cave as they bounced around, and you could get low gravity, and there was like a computer with lore on it. There was like a monster in the background. You know, it was a really cool, interesting world. I'll never be able to visit that world again. It's gone.
Mm.
It's been updated to something totally different now.
Mm. Okay, I've never been in that version of audio waves. I've seen the current version where you'll be in that giant dome with all the things that move. That's what I've seen. Yeah. Although, at least in the vein of VR chat and things ending, it is also very common for a lot of things of VR chat to have a short lifespan. Like, I'll use clubs as an example. Some really awesome club will gain popularity, and it'll be around for maybe a couple months, maybe a year, maybe a couple years, and then gone. Like, for example, one that's been around for a while, but you can still visit now, but it's a derelict more or less, is like the Vault. Have you ever been there? Raptor could tell.
No, can't say I have.
Well,
The
Raptor knows a
vault,
bit about it.
the vault, the vault was actually made in 2017, but it was actually put out on 2018. And you ever go into it and read the setup onto it? He's from Japan or China, and everything else like this, and it's unreal. The guy was so far ahead of himself. It's unreal. He's the one that had waterfalls before everybody else had waterfalls. I mean, you could actually want to stick your hand in it to see if you could actually stop it. It's that type of setup, and it's unreal. And it's a DJ setup. It's made for playing music. It's unreal. And when you go into it, it's funny because when you go into it, you got to push your hand on the button and watch the vault door open. He made another one, and it was popular. You see some of the stuff, he's actually still around, but he's never updated it. If you get more than 3 or 4 people in it, you lag. It's not the world is just not been updated. So when you get too many people in it, you just feel like you're just chugging along, just barely getting anywhere. And he made another world and everything else like this, and he was working on it and everything else, and I thought he didn't finish it until Lion found the gentleman and everything else like this. He's got his own channel and stuff like this, but now he's an animator and he's working with an AI system. That's how you just going, wow. But when you go see it, if you get the chance, walk in and just by yourself, and you're just gonna freak. Especially he's got everything when it was designed and everything when it came out and all this. And then he's got another one, if you look, especially he's got everything when it was far ahead of himself, teleporting from one point to another, and the second one that he made, teleporting from one point to another just by walking through a bubble, you know, and everything. It was just,
What was
and it's
the
made for
world called?
Vault.
The Vault.
The Vault.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's so many
You get
worlds
the,
with Vault in it. I'm trying to find it.
It's not hard. I've got it on my favorites. If you want to go after this, you'll freak. If you like worlds that, for a man that's so far ahead of his time, yes, if you're really that deep into them like I am, and Lion and I are, for a world, it's sad. It is so sad. It's not that he hasn't come back, but you can imagine if he did this, what could he do now? And it probably rip your skull out trying to figure out how'd he do it. Because none of it, you got to realize, there is nobody making it but himself and a few other creators and stuff like this, but it's unreal. It's really, really unreal.
Well,
you know, it's got it looks like, to me it looks like what is the Fallout 76, right? Like the
Oh,
game where the nuclear bomb where
Fallout.
you can
Yeah,
use it
there's
in the
Fallout
game.
76, there's
Fallout.
Fallout 4, 3, 2, and
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, okay, he's got two of those sitting upside down. It looks like, but it's and everything else. But he's got it where it's like a what the hell they call that, a lava lamp. You know it. And this is in 2017 when this guy put all this together. And you just scratch your head. You just going, wow. And you you don't try to compare his work to, but you just want to know why. And that's the biggest one. If anybody sees this, why? Why don't you come back and update it? It's so good. It was popular. You see some of the videos and stuff like this that he showed when Lon gave me his website to go watch and stuff. It was like Black Cat. It was that hot to trot for people to go play music in and stuff like this, and it's unreal. It really is.
Well, it is sad, Raptor, but at the exact same time, in vein of Unus Annus, all good things have an end. It's not like you can come back and Hollywoodify the vault and force it to come back from the dead, because
Oh no.
well, in my personal opinion, if something has gone and has good memories for people, if I think some things should be left to rest. Not that it's bad,
Oh
not
yeah.
that the guy isn't good what he does, but I'm sure the people who've been to the vault back in the day have lots of memories. I'm sure if it comes back, they'll be like, "Wow, this is great." But even then, like if he goes back and updates it, it's not like who knows if it'll be back to being popular. You may get some of the people who went there back in the day come back, but the Vrchat culture has changed so much since then. It'd be like
yeah, it's changed a lot.
yeah, it'd be like it's like how Hollywood brings back old superhero movies. They were great when they were released. They were great while they were around, but things are different. They may not be as run as well.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest going to see the vault though. It's one of those worlds that, as an example of like Unus Annus, the whole message of things don't last. It was great back in its day. Lots of people went. It was very active. I'm sure lots of memories for people. And then now it's an empty world like so many others.
Yeah, I mean, for me, something I really love is exploring those kind of abandoned worlds of not just VR chat, but of the internet in general. You know, there's old MMOs that are still up that nobody plays anymore that used to be super popular. Like one that kind of strikes a little bit of a chord with me. I played, I don't know if you know Maple Story. It's like a 2D MMO. I played it for like 8 years of my life. I was hooked on that game. And then they just made some updates that totally killed the game. You know, they changed the leveling system, they changed so much, and they just kept on adding and adding and adding and adding. You know, they milked it to death, and they added so much that it was like bloated at that point, in my opinion. And you know, I tried revisiting it a couple times, and it's like, you know, this isn't the same game anymore. You know, the population is gone. It's not the one that I grew up with anymore, but it's still here, and it's just an empty world that I can walk around and be like, man, I remember this place, I remember that place, you know. But that's it. It doesn't have the same spark anymore.
Well, you know, another sad thought is at some point VRChat's going to make an update to the SDK system or maybe even the engine. A lot of those old worlds that aren't updated to the new SDK, they may go away. Like all those worlds that people remember, or maybe worlds that no one's ever seen. There's going to come a day where they'll no longer be there.
I mean, there's already worlds that are built in SDK2 that are deteriorating currently. Like The Devouring by Lakuza, amazing map, but I played it. I never played it when it first came out. I played it more recently, and you know the AI on the monster has kind of degraded to the point where he'll just be teleporting around sometimes, or you know, he might glitch through something, and same with Pop Escape is still you know working out fine, but the creator straight up said if SDK is ever you know not going to be supported anymore, like fully, like Pop Escape will be gone. You know, he has no plans of uploading it to SDK 3 just because it's so much work for him.
Yeah. Well, that also kind of brings back to the whole Unis honest message. Visit thing or see it or don't. Visit it or don't. One day it'll be gone. Those are words like Pop
Yeah,
Escape
and
or
I
The
mean
Devouring.
it's a good message too in general. Is like don't wait. Like if you want to do something, if you want to experience something, just do it.
Mm,
You know, like you want to learn something new, just learn it. What are you waiting for? Just experience life while you have it.
yeah. I know one thing I've heard a couple of people do is like, I want to do this or that or YouTube channel. I want to learn a skill. A lot of people are hesitant because they're afraid of ridicule. Don't be afraid of ridicule. Worst comes to worst, you suck. Everyone's started a point where you suck. It's a thing that's going to happen. It's not like most people could be really good at it at the beginning, whatever it is you're trying to do. It takes time and learning, and you just got to do it. Grind it out day to day. Do it. Do it now. Get off the
Hmm.
phone, put it down, and learn the thing.
I actually have I have something to say about that too, and I'm going to say it directly at the camera for you watching at home. All right, listen, I've been doing this for a while, so I've seen people come and go, and the one thing I have to say is if you're making content online, yeah, you're awkward. Like it's just we're all awkward. We're all just talking at a camera and, basically talking to ourselves in our rooms. It's going to be weird until it's not, You just have to get used to it. And you can spend all your time worrying about, oh, this is going to suck. I'm going to be so bad at it. Look at all of the greatest YouTubers that are out there. Look at all of the content creators that are out there. You think their first videos are good? Go back and watch them. They're not. They're really not. They're
Hmm.
just as corny and I hate to use the term, but cringy and like, messy as your first video is going to be. But you know what? They stuck to it because they enjoyed it. And that's what you should do too. So
Mm,
don't wait. Just
mm.
like I said, experience life.
Boy, do we know that boat.
Oh yeah.
Just you and I. We know, yeah, it's not an easy road, but the biggest thing out of the whole thing that you can ever, if you're doing it, whatever it might be, and you're doing it with a friend or friends, whatever it might be, that is what you're going to take. It's not what you put out, it's the time that you spend with those
Mm,
friends in VR or on YouTube that's helping you make your creation or whatever you're going to do. Nobody's going to, it might be nuts. Oh boy, is it ever nuts. We get that way a lot. But it's the fun time that you have with it. And a lot of people, don't get me wrong, I tried it. You can ask Lion. I got two followers on, what is it, Twitch?
yeah, Twitch.
Is it Twitch? 2
Wilson.
followers on Twitch. Yeah, and with Wilson, me playing a tank game. And my biggest problem is I can't get the echo out of the damn tank. But there is no echo in the tank. It's just my mic's picking it up and everything else. And we've been beating my brains to death until I figure out what the deal and how it's being screwy. It's fun because, you're yelling at Wilson that does not exist. You just make something up and run with it. And that's pretty much what I'm doing is just screwing around.
Mm,
Having and then everything else like this. So, but like with me and Lion, we throw stuff back and forth like friends. You do that in real life. You have your different ins and outs and everything else like this in life. But hey, your opinion is your opinion. You're going to argue with what's right, what's wrong, and everything else, but that's still who you are, no matter what the ordeal is, even in VR.
mm.
And remember this.
Oh yeah.
It's VR, folks. You can be as nutty as you want. You can be as serious as you want. Or you can be upside down and nobody just looks at you, looks and wonders what the heck. You can be quiet. You can be loud. You can be obnoxious. You can be whatever. It's just who you are. You'll find people that'll click with you or click without you. And you just, okay.
Mm.
That's the way it goes. Have fun. Swap, drop, and go for it. And the worlds are there for you to have that fun. If you're broadcasting or just hanging, whatever it might be. Knock it down about an inch at a time. The problem is that inch, you might make a mile of it and don't even realize you're doing it. It's simple. It's just the way it goes.
Mm.
Have fun.
Also,
It's the biggest thing in here. Have fun.
you watching, we both know it's a thing you've been wanting to do or needing to do. Stop this and do it. Okay, I'm done.
Well, I mean, don't keep watching the video. Watch the end, then go do it. gotta get that watch time.
Oh,
in. Gotta get that watch.
Shit, I'm out of here. Bye, folks. I gotta leave. Woo! Yeah, well, there goes the guy we were doing the broadcast with, and he's gone. Where'd he go? I don't know, but I guess we'll just sit here and wait. Hopefully he comes back to finish this. We're gonna have to make a double take and go. We are now on part 2. I hope you enjoyed this other half. Yeah, you know, it's just, I never thought of doing something like that. We got to try that, see what it was. You know, it's just crazy shit like that makes it fun.
Steven was in the bathroom for over an hour watching this weird video, and then he drops the phone, doesn't wipe his ass, and goes out saying something about learning piano because a furry on the internet told him to.
Damn it!
What the hell just happened?
Yeah. But, Mom, it wasn't my fault. I just got up and peed all the way down and got on the computer. You could at least try to pull your pants up next time, young man. But, Mom, I got this idea, and I'm running with it. Pull up your pants, please. Yeah. Yeah. Way it works. Going, whoops, what a little too fast there. Made a dribble between here and the bedroom. Unless your bathroom's right next to your bedroom, and then it's just a dribble. Yeah.
Although there are some old worlds out there that I remember, and I wish don't go away, but I'm sure the people around Vrchat a whole lot longer than that. But a world in Vrchat that I've got memories of, not because I've been to the events, but me and the crew would just hang there, is like the Ferality world with a tree. We spent so much time just hanging there. I've never been to Ferality.
Oh.
Never been to Ferality. But I spent so much time in that world outside just because we all hang on the tree. So that's where we'd sit, just at the top of the tree.
Yeah, there's a lot of memories. That and the other one where it's got the fish
glowing cavern
inside the cave. Yep, the glowing cavern. Yeah, that's where I made my stupid mistake of having Wonka around, you know, recording me. Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah.
You have any worlds like that?
Yep.
Do you have memories in?
Like what specifically?
To you?
Oh, specifically memories. Let me think about it. I mean, Spirits of the Sea is always going to be my core. Like, I've met so many great people there, public instances. I've spent so much private time with people there. Serenity Cove is one for me as well, for the same reason. I spent a lot of time with friends just exploring and talking, and, you know, I don't know. You know, if I stop to think about it for a bit, I'm sure I can think of more, but those are the two that immediately come to mind. You know, it's interesting, like, the worlds become kind of more than what they are to each individual in a way. Like, I mean, on a more of a personal note, I've actually told the creator of this world as well, but The Shore by Blue Cat, specifically The Shore Night. If you've never been there, and to anyone watching, it's like you're on like a different planet, and you're like on you come out of this like stone structure onto a sandy beach, and there's like big structures in the background, and like 2 moons in the sky. And it's just this really like quiet, somber music playing while you're there. The one I go to is all like blue tinted. And I'll be honest, like full disclosure, I go there to cry. Like when I'm not doing my best, I go there, and that's my comfort world. And I just, you know, Blue Cat makes a lot of these really beautiful, abstract worlds like this, and you know, it's everybody takes their own meaning of different worlds, and you know, that one just, to me personally, became a comfort world where, man, I am overwhelmed and life's not going good. I'm just gonna go cry one out in that world real quick because it makes me comfortable. It's peaceful. It's a lot of people have come to support me in that world. Like it has a lot of memories too.
It's crazy. The memories you have in a world can give that world entirely new meaning, as you said. Could just be some dopey world that made to have a giant smiley face that spins in circles, but because of the memories you have there, it has a completely different feel to it to you.
Oh, absolutely. And like the world I just mentioned too. Another person goes to that world, they're like, "Oh, cool sci-fi world with a peaceful vibe." And that's all it is. And that's all it needs to be, really. But, you know, someone else might go there and it's like the world they went to where they met the love of their life, the world they went to where they, I don't know, had like a silly party with crazy avatars. Like, it's what you make of it.
One of the most amazing things about VRChat in general, it's what you make of it. To each person, this game it has grew to a life of its own, and it means so many different things to so many different people. Let us know down below what it is to you. If you play, if not, you should at least try it out once. Just avoid the black hat. Dear God, don't go to the
It's
black
free.
hat.
It's free, and you don't need VR, actually, despite it being VR, and you don't need to chat, despite it being VR chat. You can literally download it for free on Steam, play, keyboard and mouse, and go solo explore.
Mm,
You can be a mute. You can use the chat box to type. You don't have to put your voice out into the world. You don't even have to approach people.
mm.
It's despite being VR chat, you don't need VR and you don't need the chat, and it
Y-
just becomes.
You do with VR
Hey, you want
Chat
to hop
Plus.
on?
You could also play on your phone if you pay for VR Chat
That's
Plus.
true.
It's now as active as you can play for whatever. As much as some people may not like and joke about, oh look, the questies are evolving to phone kids, but I think it's cool that more people have the option to at least try it before they start spending a lot of money getting into VR. Because let's be honest, it's not a cheap venture. I'll tell you what.
Oh no.
No, but at least
First you buy a headset, then you buy a better cord, then you buy accessories for your headset, then you buy full body, then it just keeps on going. Then you buy a haptic vest, and you buy it just keeps on piling and piling. But I don't know. I'm of the mind that like I don't care if kids play. I don't care if they're a questie. Let them
Mm,
have their fun in their own space. You make your own space. I think more people getting into it is a blessing, if I'm being honest, because
mm,
while there might be like 20 screaming children, there might be like in that group 3 more people who come on here, get inspired, and create something cool that you might visit like a couple
mm,
months down the road.
mm. Now I'm gonna
And
play.
like having it accessible on phones,
Yeah, I think it's
that's cool.
awesome.
That's super cool.
I do agree it's awesome that it's available to more people now. Although I have had the chance to speak with people from the opposite side of the whole kids shouldn't be around, and a lot of them have some pretty good reasons for it too. Like, for example, there was one a friend of ours who runs the Rave Cave, and what unfortunately I've heard some stories over there that there are people out there that prey on kids. That's kids being here is fine as long as their parents are around. But unfortunately, a lot of people, from what it seems to me, in my opinion, use VRChat to or use quests now to here, hang out in your room, put this Quest headset in your head and just hang out there, not knowing that there are people on the internet that want other things with your kids. And I think to some degree there needs to be some separation, but kids should be allowed to be here.
I mean, I will say, I don't know if you saw the more recent devlogs from VRChat. They're adding age gating to worlds. You can age gate worlds and stuff now.
Wow, how
Well,
are the
not now, but like they're going to be able to. I guess
Mm,
it's gonna go based on like the birthday you input into the account or something like that. But obviously there's gonna be flaws to that. There's always gonna be flaws to that on the internet.
well,
The only way to completely verify is to have an ID. But who
mm.
who wants that?
Yeah. Well, even with the honor system, it is still hopefully people are being honest with it, but at least it's good to see they're trying and they're doing something, which is better than nothing. It's better than oh, guess what, community? Screw off and do it yourself. Although the community is doing a lot of good things in that venture by itself. Like, for example, the things like OC Blacklist and people out there that investigate reports of people who do that stuff, as well as like crashers and stuff like that. And they'll make a blacklist and just send that out to the ether. They'll be able to do clubs and events who are a part of the server, and they take massive lists. And you can also get off the list if you can fight the claim, and then they'll go back and reinvestigate and take the evidence you bring forward and stuff like that. It's not like you're locked out all the time. But the community has also done some pretty good efforts on that front too by themselves, which is awesome to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And no matter where you go on the internet, there's always gonna be some bad actors out there doing some shady shit. And
Mm,
I mean, I hate to say it, it's just an inevitability of life, no matter what.
mm,
And it's awful that that's the case, but it's as long as there's measures being put forward. I mean, I've straight up seen abusive people be removed from VR chat. Like, I won't go into names or anything, to avoid the specific drama. But there was a world creator who was not a good person, and they were going
mm,
around, being really creepy and weird towards people and really mean and like just an all around awful person, and they're not around anymore.
mm,
So I mean,
mm.
action does get taken eventually.
I know. I just only thing I wish is parents spend just as much time with their kids in here. That way, Vrchat or the people in Vrchat aren't the ones raising their kids, because unfortunately,
Oh my
nowadays of the
god, so true.
modern, a lot of the modern parents who allow their kids to play Quest I don't think they're paying attention to their kids in the Quest. Not saying you don't love your kids and you're not paying attention to your kids, but what they're doing in here, I would pay attention to. The funny thing about the Quest app, the modern Quest, is there's a thing on the app where you could watch through your phone or a live stream on your TV of what they're doing. At least have it on your phone up on the side, so when you see some weird dude doing some weird things around or to your kid, you can at least go, hold up a second, we need to have a conversation, me and the kiddo. At least or even be here. Like Raptor here is a parent himself, and he came in here with his kid.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. For the longest time. Yeah, it's a story of its own. I actually was going to buy the headset for her, and I figured I better try it out to see what it's like, because where I'm at. And once in a great while, T is what everybody calls her in here. And everything else like this, I kept an eye on her. I'd hop in, see how she's doing, what she was doing. Never stuck my nose where it didn't belong. Everything else like this, just ask her if she's doing okay, just being curious, listen a little bit, hopped right back out. And I was on headset too. I just back and forth. She doesn't get on that much because she's got she's up to 18, going on 19 real quick. She's starting to move on her own, finding out her own clicks and stuff like this. And the only reason I got the headset for her is she had a problem with anxiety. She couldn't handle being around crowds. So I was trying to help it a little bit and everything else like this at her own speed. That's a parent that cares. You just, sorry, the real world is almost like this, but when you get out in the real world, it can be nuts. And you just can't lock yourself in a room with 4 walls and a door, and that's it. And that's the way you want to live. That's not the way to be. And don't get me wrong, there's people that do that and do pretty good, but if you don't find out what it's like on the other side of that door, you'll never get anywhere. And I got in, and that's why, and I got it, and I got stuck into it, and I met a lot more people, and I've been in chats all before even VR. I was in all types of different chats and everything else, like Yahoo, when it lost its and then it went to the toilet because a bunch of kids screwed it up, and it went belly up, and then another one. But VR and stuff like this, you get, like I said, if you don't put effort in it, you're never going to get nothing out of it. And it don't matter if it's just even 1% is 1% of something that you're trying. And that's what I was trying to do for her, was that I might have not got anywhere, but she met some people from all over the different places. And she's got a couple friends down south that she's really good. She's got a couple of them across seas. But it's none of my business what she does, and I know how old they were, and all that kind of stuff. And one of them's a good friend of mine and calls me Dad. And thinks me as Dad because her dad's gone. It's you try to be there and do what you can, even knowing that they're so far away and everything else like this. But you don't drive your kids into a corner and don't let them come out and enjoy. It's just one of those things you got to work with them. And that's the same thing with VR. You got to work with people in here, or you're just going to be okay. If that's what like I said, where you're talking about just world hopping and everything else like that, and that's your thing and everything else, more power to it. But sooner or later, you're going to bump heads with somebody, even if you just said hi and walked away. That's something. That's better than nothing. It don't matter what the deal is. You walk by and somebody says hi and you turn around and say hi back. That's interaction. And I take that every day of the week. She did too, and it was no problem. So you got, the kids' situation is all to its own, and it just takes time. Sooner or later, they'll figure out ways to work with it and how to deal with it. Parents will figure out ways to work. Biggest thing for me, folks, if you're a parent, take a little effort, put a headset on. You look at it going, no. Hey, I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. I thought, no, this, And my stupid thing is I put it on and I went on a roller coaster ride. And it wasn't even in VR. It was just in the gear itself.
Mm.
You know, stupid, but hey, what the hell? You learn from your mistakes, you know. But once you have that ability, and I work with people in real life anyhow. That's just me. I've worked with the public for a long, long, long time. And, you know, you got to work with it. You listen. You know, there's a lot of people have a lot of bumps in here, and there's a lot of people that have a lot of fun. And, you know, if you get to be yourself and don't hold up a, what do you want to call it, putting on a mask that's not who you are, even when you take the headset off and set it down, it's the same thing. You'll go a long ways. You'll meet a lot of things and see a lot of things that it's unreal. It really is. I'd like to take my headset over to my mom and dad's and stick it on her face. This is an 80-some-year woman. Put this on her face and let her see things that she could never see. And I'm not talking just in VR. Anything. You know, it's just one of those things. So it's a trip.
Indeed. Oh.
Yeah, one quote that I recently read that this whole conversation just reminded me of is, you know, I'm reading this manga called Grand Blue, and for those who do know what it is, it's a comedy. It's very like raunchy, dirty humor. It's like college kids being, you know, ridiculous, but there's also some deeper like stuff to it. The whole like sides it's supposed to be the main story, but it becomes the side story just as the gag. But this kid joins a diving club and his whole thing is like, oh well, you know, I don't know if this is right for me because I can't swim. I don't know how to swim. I don't know if I should dive if I can't swim. And you know, the seniors in the class are like, oh, like you don't need to know how to swim to dive. It's a totally different skill set. And just because you're, you know, not comfortable underwater doesn't mean you can't become comfortable. And you know, he keeps going, no, I can't. I don't know how. And I actually pulled it up right here. The senior basically just says, if all you ever choose to do are the things that you can already do, you'll never start anything new.
That is an amazing
And I don't know,
quote.
that just hit.
That
That
is
hit
a
me
damn
so
good
deep.
quote. That's a
Yeah,
damn
because
good quote.
it's like you said, the parent looking at the headset like, oh, I don't know, technology. Well, of course, if you keep doing that your whole life, you're never going to learn the technology. Just throw it on your head and figure it out. Like, all of human history is throwing things together and figuring it out. That's what we're built on. That is what we are that's how we got where we are today, is trying shit and seeing what works. So just apply that to your everyday life. Don't be afraid to, like, you know, like you said, you know, pick up the piano or like start a YouTube channel or, you know, put on that headset. Like, just do it. Stop being afraid. What are you afraid of? Oh, I'm not as good as everyone else at it. So what? There are people who are probably worse off than you are even. Like, just do it. There's no shame.
And also, to those who are a parent or of the older group, yeah, VRChat's not a place with people my age. Ancients of VRChat, there you'll meet some other people your age. Raptor and I've met someone who's 75 and a veteran. We've met Raptor here's 54. We've met other people. There's a home caddy who does streaming and some YouTube content. She's about Raptor's age as well. So there are some older folk here as well, not just 20 somethings or 30 somethings or teens. A whole bunch of ages are here. You may meet people your age that you may actually be great friends with here, not just Facebook. It's a bit outdated.
Yeah, and I mean, if you need a VR chat community that's not as big as the Ancients, but is also 18 plus and provides a very comfy and wholesome environment, check out the Void Nexus.
Definitely. I've actually hung out with those guys. Amazing people.
No, you.
No, you.
I'm not getting into this.
No Raptor. No Raptor. No Raptor.
No. Hi.
Good job keeping the gag going.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Try to, yeah. Like I say, I always tell you a line, right? If you don't move with what's going around you forward, you get left behind. And guess what? Before it's over with, I don't want nothing against my parents, but my mom won't even touch a cell phone. And she's way up in her age and everything else like this. And I mean, you hand her a phone and she just, no. You don't move forward with technology. You get left behind, and before it's over with, you're standing back. And it's not that, hey, it's old school. That's who they are. You don't drive a nail into a coffin before you even get to the opportunity. You just let it be. But I'm a prime person from what I've learned from my parents. Move forward. You stop. Don't get me wrong. You might get in a routine, but you got to move forward. And in the process of moving forward, still pay attention to what's going on and still go forward with whatever it might be. It could be technology. It could be anything that you're doing. But if you don't and you decide to put the brakes on and say, this is it, you're burying yourself. You're just not going.
It's
you're
the
watching
age-old
the world.
saying, you know, time waits for no one. It's
That's
true.
right.
It literally, it will keep
It's
on going
damn
without you,
true.
whether you want to or not.
You want to or not. And you end up, what it amounts to is the biggest thing is you decide to put on the brakes and all you do is watch the clock. What's that? Why make your life sit there and watch time go, knowing it's leaving you behind, but why not go with it and have fun with it? What time you have left on this damn planet, instead of just putting on the brakes and just watching the day unfold each day. And it seems like you don't go nowhere. You know, it's just one of those things. And I hope, God, I never get that way. If I do, I hope my daughter sticks her foot up my ass. Straight up.
If she won't wrap her, I will. I'll come find you, stick my foot up your ass.
Oh, you kinky bitch. You kinky bitch.
I knew you liked that stuff.
And you know what? If she doesn't, and if he doesn't, don't look at me. I'm not doing that.
At least he's honest. At least he's honest. I'll give you that much.
Well,
wow.
Thank you again, Nova, for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure sitting down and chatting with you. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Yes.
I mean, I guess, you know, check out my YouTube, NovaRedux. Check out the Void Nexus group. It's linked on the YouTube probably somewhere. I don't know. I imagine it is. And I don't know, just like we were saying before, the best thing you can do for me is to get out there and do something for yourself. That's your homework right now. After this video, start something you've been meaning to do. Just do it. No excuses.
Indeed. Raptor, close us out. Oop, that's my face.
Well, I am. Oh, sorry, I'm not lying. But the best thing, folks, and I'll tell you straight up, no matter how you bat it or throw the ball, you're gonna strike, or you might make a home run. But if you do, just have fun and give it hell and all you got. Because guess what? I'm in here and I'm giving it all I got. And man, it's a blast in the ass. Take care, folks. Have a good one.